perfect timing. Come with me. I want you to meet somebody. So we go to a different area of the building, and we walk into another lounge kitchen. And Quincy Jones is sitting there. And then I was like, oh, shit. That's Quincy. Like, oh. And I said, yeah, he was on the elevator with us. So he brought me over to him. He said, Quincy, I want you to meet a good brother of mine. His name's Domingo. And Quincy was like, hey, youngster. And I said, how you doing, sir? Pleasure to meet you. And we just sat down, and we was just talking. But he was dropping jewels about when he made jazz records. And I'm just, to be honest with you, fam, I was just sitting there quiet. Like, yo. Like, because, see, even though I found it funny, what Joe was like, yo, now I was in this man's face. You know what I'm saying? Sitting across the table from him, not even understanding, like, yo, I'm sitting with one of the greatest producers in the world. You know what I'm saying? So I just sat there quietly for like 2 hours. And he asked me questions about, you know, what am I working on? And that's when I'm like, this Quincy fucking Jones, yo. This dude is asking me, what am I doing? And he asked me, how did I know speech? And I told him. He was like, oh, okay. He said, all right. And then he was like, well, I gotta go, fellas. Good talking to you. Michael's waiting for me. And I looked at speech and I said, Michael? And he's like, yeah, Michael Jackson. He's upstairs. I was like, get the fuck out of here. He's like, remember when the elevator, you can't get on the elevator? He said, did you experience that? I said, yeah, it was always security guard. He said, yeah, Michael's car came in on the elevator and went up to the penthouse. Michael has an apartment in the penthouse. And when he's here in New York, that's where he stays. And I was like, yeah, right. And somebody verified it for me that worked at Hit Factory. And was like, yeah, there's a basketball court up there. Michael stays up there. You know, I mean, he wasn't the only one that would stay there, but it was, from my understanding, what I was told, it was an apartment up there or something that, you know, high-level superstars would stay in. And I was bugging because I'm like, wait a minute, a car went on that elevator? And they're like, yeah, and it brought him upstairs. And I was like, okay, well, all right. And then Quincy left, and that was it. And then I went back to the room where Joe was, and Joe was like, yo, where you been? I was like, yo. I said, I went to the kitchen. I ran in a speech from Arrested Development. He's like, oh. I said, and he brought me to go sit down with Quincy. Yo, why didn't you come get me, man? I was like, yo, I didn't expect that, dog. So that's how the whole thing went.
Damn, it's crazy, man. I wanted to talk about you showed a plaque that you received from Drake, and you know I'm not getting into like Drake or whatever, but you did talk about how his people practice good business and they reached out to you because they used some of your work. Now I know it was like connected to you, kind of like. So explain how that worked.
Well, as crazy as it is, I found out through, I forget how I found out through ASCAP. ASCAP sent me a letter and said, congratulations on receiving your Rhythm and Blues Award for your contribution in the song All Me by Drake. And I'm looking at it like, what contribution? So when I went on my ASCAP member access, I started looking for Drake, and I seen it, and I was like, yo, what? Because I had a publishing deal back in '95 with this dude Jelly Bean Benitez, and I no longer have a publishing deal. So a lot of that stuff, if I don't pay attention to it, which is hard to pay attention to all that. So if I don't pay attention to who's sampling my stuff, I would never know unless something like that happened. Like, they don't just, if they clear it, it'll go right to my ASCAP and whatever. But, so if it wasn't for ASCAP sending me that letter and then giving me 2 tickets, not to fly to LA, giving me tickets to go to the ceremony in LA, which at that time I did not go because I was going through some case Los Angeles, and I didn't want to bother with LA. So they sent me the plaque, and then I found out my percentage and my, that Drake sampled the MC from KRS, which I own 50% of. So that put me in that bracket to own a percentage of that Drake song. So that's why I'm always preaching publishing is your real estate. Because, see, if I didn't own that publishing, I wouldn't own a piece of Drake. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean, Drake the song. Not a piece of him. So
I know what you're saying.
Yeah. So it's the business end of it, and the fact that the brother was good enough to research, give him this, give him that, and we good. I was good with that because, that's that's extremely rare in this game. You know what I'm saying? And, because nobody ever looks at, okay, well, I sample from him. Let me give him this dude that. They just put it out, and that's that. And I'm guilty of it too. I'm not gonna lie. I've sampled records and put them out and said, you know what? If somebody come for it, I'll make sure this percentage is set aside. So it's a game where it's extremely rare, man. And the fact he did that, it meant a lot. And then I made a couple of phone calls to Universal Music, to people I knew, and they connected me to people that's connected to him. And they said, you deserve a plaque, man. Thank you, for reaching out. And they made that plaque happen. And, dog, I know you've seen the picture of it, but that shit is fucking huge. Like, I ain't even got a space on my wall for it because it's that big. And it makes the pun plaque and the flex plaque and the KRS plaque. I got to put all three of them together to make that one.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? So it's dope, man. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful to him. I don't know him, never met him. I sent him a message on Instagram to see maybe a chance he's seen it. It is what it is. But I'm grateful. And unfortunately, in this game, you're only as good as your next hit. You know what I'm saying? So, but when certain individuals got wind that I owned publishing of Drake, I started getting phone calls from industry people on the legal side trying to coax me into suing Drake for more. And I was like, yo, first of all, how you got my phone number? Oh, it's over here. We knew how to find you. And, yo, you deserve more. You should let us litigate that for you. And I'm like, yo, do me a favor. Don't call my number again and get the fuck out my face with that. I said, because I'm not like that. You know what I'm saying? If the brother did the right thing from the beginning, I'm cool. And even if he didn't do it, I still wouldn't have sued him. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just not how I get down. Like, I understand the music game, the sample game, and you know what? He did it right. So why sue him? You know what I'm saying? So, but that's how that whole shit went. And I'm still getting royalty checks from it. So I'm okay.
No doubt, man. I appreciate you sharing that as well. Now, as we fast forward to the here and now, you're doing something for independent artists, man, and talk about that for a little bit.
Well, it's called MediaFamous.com. It's a worldwide digital distribution for independent artists. As I go on my journey in this music game, I learned things here and there that a lot of companies, they represent themselves one way, but they really not. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to do something for the independent artists where they can release their music to the right outlets and get heard and get known for a cost-effective price with no hidden charges or nothing extra. Because let's just be straight up. Like, the independent artist is not a broke artist, but they want to do everything cost effective where they don't have to go broke trying to be, an artist. So the price of Media Famous is $9.95 a year to release unlimited music. And when I say unlimited, it's unlimited singles, unlimited albums, and you release them whatever you want. And then the next year, because I get asked this a lot, the following year would be $9.95. I'm not TuneCore where if you distribute through me and you don't pay next year, that I'm gonna delete your account or I'm gonna take your music down. No, what we're gonna do is if you don't pay the $9.95, we'll just charge a little 20% commission to collect your music money for you, or you pay the $9.95. Which is, if I asked you that, which one would you go for? You'll go for the $9.95 because then that's it. I'm done with you, and you collect all your money.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
when I studied DistroKid, and I studied them real good, and I'm not in no way trying to compete with them, but I am trying to give another lane. And DistroKid, there's a lot of faults to them, and they have hidden charges. They have, like for instance, YouTube Content ID. Like they charge for you to set up a YouTube Content ID. You don't need to pay for that. Like that comes with Media Famous. That comes as an option. You either opt in or you opt out. Now, if you opt in, we collect the YouTube Content ID for you and give you the bread. If you opt out, then you opt out. You know what I'm saying? But there's no hidden charges. It's $9.95. And I feel it's a better lane for independent artists because I'm in the music game. It's now 33 years. I know the music game. I know the legals of it. I know the publishing side. I know how to deal with artists. I mean, there's an artist that's signed with Media Famous for distribution. I don't want to put his name out there, but if I did, he could tell you that there are issues that pop up with samples, and there's issues that pop up with artwork. Certain iTunes is very, very fickle. Like they don't want hashtags. They don't want capitalization here. They don't want competition. So there's an artist that could tell you, like I literally went to battle with iTunes for them, and I wouldn't let up until iTunes said, okay, here you go. We'll let them through. We'll approve the release. Because I was like, yo, you can't stop these independent artists. It was something that was in the wording of the artist title. It said limited edition. So they took it as, well, you can't say limited edition. I'm like, but that's the title of the project. No, but we don't allow that. I'm like, so I went on iTunes, got 5 examples of, I'm not trying to sound racist, but white rock records that said limited edition. I said, well, what about these? What's these 4 right here? And they had to give in. All right, okay, you got it. Media Famous, you got it. So that's my point is, I will go to bat for the artist because I know what it's like to be an artist and a producer on the independent level on the come up. I know I never forgot where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? And even though there's other peers out there that can spread knowledge to these kids, if they choose not to, that's on them. That's my choice to help them and my choice to enrich their knowledge in this because if not, they're going to continue to get jerked. So now going back to DistroKid, my man's not even in the music industry. He knows nothing about the music game. He's a web programmer. If you read his bio, he says, I had this notion to build this site and it went good. Well, yeah, Domingo had this notion to build Media Famous to give the independent artists a window, an outlet for an easier way, an easier price. And that's Media Famous's model, and that's the way it's going to stay. Now, I have upgrades coming on the site that none of these motherfuckers is doing because I studied them. So people that signed up for Media Famous are going to like the upgrades that are coming, hopefully within the next couple of weeks. And I'm not going to say what they are because I don't want nobody else copying it right now. But it's gonna separate me from them. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna continue my lane. And I don't know if you see